Welcome to Be Well. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Jonathan from Your Why, and I'm truly fortunate to be able to have the opportunity to bring together leaders in their field to speak about living a mindful life. Our topic today, which I'm very excited, is joy training. And so as I tie joy into mindfulness, one of the things that I think of is when we practice mindfulness, we are open to whatever the experience is, good, bad, pleasant, unpleasant, with the knowing that all experiences pass. And there was a saying that spoke to, without pain, we would not know what joy is. And so today we're going to have the opportunity to explore joy. Rumi has a quote, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. And so today we have Marguerite Baca, a meditation teacher, a practitioner, author of Mind Body Articles, to share with us joy training. Marguerite, pleasure to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. It's always just such a pleasure and a privilege for me to share these scientific and spiritual principles. They work.
And I know you're going to start us off. You have a particular experience that you wanted to offer all of us to put us in the right state to take on this joy training.
Yes, and this will show why meditation and particularly conscious breathing is probably the quickest way to tap into your joy. So I'm going to share an image with you to help you see what you're working with. Okay, this is the baby spine principle, I call it. It's from my soul satisfaction course. So when you're conceived, when the sperm and the ovum meet, the first thing that forms is right here, the very top of your neck. So you're in your mama's womb, and the medulla oblongata forms here. And so you're in the womb, and your little baby brain is growing, and then your baby spine is growing. So here you are in this womb, and all those major nerves that we still have as adults, and also the 7 major chakra centers are involved. So you've got the crown, the brow, so you can look those up. So when you do the conscious breathing, and you're doing it consciously, it's as though you're, especially with that long exhale, you're soothing those major nerves along your spine. And then your mind becomes calmer and clear. And the visual cortex part of the brain, right around the eyes, we turn to furrow our brow. We're trying to figure things out. And so when you get calm, your face becomes more serene, like a baby. And then you have a sense more of being present and calm. So we're going to do just a cycle or two of this conscious breathing with the intention of we're dissolving the tensions, and so we can tap into that innate joy that we come from. So this little baby in here that you were was not manipulating anybody or trying to control and not being controlled. So that's what we're returning to, just that innocent, that place of joy. All right, so if you'd like, you can close your eyes, and I'll set you with the pace here with these bells. So you go close your eyes and picture your spine. Include the crown of your head, so your brain is involved, and visualize that stream of exhale going down your back. And you pause and follow the inhale, the stream of breath, as though you're breathing through a channel, and bring it up through your neck, through your brain, to your crown. Retain the breath a moment. And then cleansing, sighing, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, and you feel your brow spread, your jaw letting go. Do one more cycle. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Slow exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. In this pause, You feel your shoulders drop. Just go ahead and bow your head to your heart. And let the sounds of the bells penetrate through any layers of restlessness. Connect with your calmness, connect with your joy. And we'll return to the room. Thank you, Jonathan, for letting me start out with that, because when our minds are calm and clear, we're able to retain more information.
Wow, that was phenomenal. I thank you for that. And, initially I was just looking at that image of that, fetus or baby, and just such a peaceful, innocent posture. And you have a phenomenal voice in terms of inducting us into that space. So thank you for starting us off in this way, which is, truly blissful and expansive. So we're talking about joy. And one of the things, terms get bantered around: happiness, joy. What is joy, and the difference between joy and happiness?
I'm so glad you asked that, because that innate joy that we were just tapping into has nothing to do with external circumstances. As you alluded to with your Rumi quote and the meditation teacher quote, that all, the circumstances around us are changing constantly. So if we associated our emotions or our state of mind, state of being with our circumstances, we'd be up and down and up and down, and probably mostly down, right? And then even with achieving a goal, say obtaining material, a car that are fancy, something fancy, yay, we're happy for a moment. But if we're not tapped into that joy, and maybe if you're still filled with that anxiety, how long are you going to enjoy or be happy? So happy to me has kind of a finite, and it's contingent, whereas joy, you have it all through all circumstances. Sometimes you have to breathe a lot more to find it.
Yeah.
And anchor to it. Sometimes it's a little more work. And that's why I have this anchor necklace to symbolize that, staying anchored to your calmness. Calmness is really a way in to that joy.
Well, I identify with what you're saying in terms of joy and happiness, and the distinction of kind of that ride of, often when people speak of happiness, they speak of it being related to something happening. And so joy, as I'm hearing, is a more static experience that, as you said, is always within. Um,
Yes, it's a resource.
hmm.
And when we get that into that calmness, we can start cleansing, doing that spiritual hygiene, like I call it. But not in going into denial. There's a new term. It's called spiritual bypassing, where you try to bypass your emotions. It's not about that. And in the old days, we just called it denial.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's going within and being really honest, really, with yourself about what's going on, how you feel about things, and so that you can manage your emotions, and then inquire within, like, what's the best balanced way for me to manage myself in these challenging circumstances? Because Lord knows those challenging circumstances will keep on coming.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, I identify with what you're saying as a joy being a resource, and denial, spiritual bypass. Often people will try on some of these alternative ways of being as a way of kind of skipping experiences. And again, with mindfulness, we welcome whatever comes forward, because we know that those things will pass, and so to embrace all of that. So Marguerite, joy. Why is that something that is maybe beneficial or primary to health?
Well, I kind of think of dread as the opposite, right? Because joy is like, woohoo, I'm happy, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy within my own skin, or not necessarily even happy, just feeling comfortable,
Mm.
at ease, really at ease in my own skin, in a sense of looking forward
Mm.
to what's ahead, even just being grateful that I can enjoy this breath and welcome in this new day. Whereas dread, I always think of Elaine on Seinfeld, if you're familiar with that character.
Oh, yes.
Okay, when she would dread doing something, she'd go like this, kind of like a 2-year-old would do when they, I don't want to make up my bed, you know?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay, so a lot of the things that were our responsibilities, things maybe we don't really want to face, will have that kind of Elaine or that toddler mentality about it. And it starts. When does it start? Maybe November, December, the end of the year. Oh, got to do my taxes. Oh, it's not until April. So,
Yeah.
so I love science. Okay, so quantum physics, right? They say that every cell of our body has a hologram of the universe.
Mm.
So in a sense, the what we're feeding with that sense of dread or dragging, it's like dragging our little cell universes around, dragging them. It's like, oh, we got to do this instead of. And sometimes this takes work to find a way to frame things. Like, you know what? All right, I made enough money to pay tax. I earned this year. Or, um, put on music, soft music that makes you feel good. I had a woman, one of my clients, she had this looming pantry full of Tupperware, which she couldn't find matching lids and containers. And it was just eating up brain space for years. So finally, she just pulled them all out in a pile, put on some rock and roll, and she did it, and she did it joyfully. And her kids were shocked that mom finally stopped whining about that Tupperware cabinet.
And that's an important one for me to hold on to as well, because it's often just that lens or perspective that you choose to take, because it's all choice. And as you change that perspective and look at how you want to meet something, there are always things that we don't necessarily enjoy doing, but how do you embrace it in a way that might be fresh, curious, joyful?
Mm.
I like that a lot.
Well, to kind of put an umbrella term over this perspective and framing it, I put it all under the category of self-care.
Mm.
I'm taking care of my business, all these areas, my health, my social life, my creativity, my finances, business, red tape, just it's all part of taking care of myself. Going to the dentist, the mechanic, these are ways I'm loving myself. And what happens scientifically too, this ties in with health. You have something to do, it's on your to-do list, and you chalk it off, you get it complete. You get a dopamine hit. Are you aware of that? Get that dopamine hit. And then, but if some people can get addicted, become a dopamine crackhead, I call it, And I think, I lean that way, so I've got to watch it. Dopamine crackhead. I love getting stuff done, completing things, learning things. But there's the flip side, serotonin, which is also a feel good hormone. Is that a hormone? Yeah. Which comes from warm social engagement, meaningful social contact, meditation, gentle walking through the park. So that you need the two.
Yes. Yes. So that sounds wonderful to be in that space of self-care. I know we have challenges with that at times. So I'm just curious, as you have done this work, what do you see are like the obstacles in terms of getting in the way of us feeling and being in that space, expressing joy?
The first thing, I don't have enough time.
Sure.
And so I've developed this over the years with my training. And you think of training in boot camp, it's drills. You're doing something repeatedly. It's basically developing these habits. And so I now at this point in my life, after so many years, I get excited. And part of that was framing it too, about
Sure.
really delving in, journaling, facing, inquiring, meditating deeply, spending hours walking, meditating at the beach every week or park. So that time factor, and I sympathize with that, and I feel like that's part of the maybe a trance, a spell that culture puts on us. Because when you go into that meditative place, there's no sense of time. And then what happens is in those calm states, the two hemispheres of your brain start to work together. And here's a really strange phenomenon, Jonathan, but it's so cool. You get, oh, I've got this and that to do. I got waking up with this overwhelm. So common, overwhelm, anxiety. How am I going to get all this done? But making a commitment to slow down and breathe and calm down, all of a sudden becomes a little, oh, you know what? I really only need for my self-care to do these two things today. And that other thing I need to do, I'm going to be on that side of town 2 days from now. It'll be more convenient to do that then. And so, yeah, it's the time factor. So if we have time, speaking of which, can we go in and do another breathing cycle?
That'd be great. And I just want to kind of reinforce what you said because it was significant. It's what we prioritize in our life. And you think about in a given day, if we can't capture a couple minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it may be for our own self-care, and I like what you're saying, it's a practice. Often we get lost in the sense that things should just happen. They should naturally happen. But like with going to the gym, here at the Y, it's a training. You just don't walk in and your muscles are all toned. You actually work at it, you train, you practice. And so I like what you're saying in terms of making that commitment and making that devotion. So thank you.
Yes, and meant that mentioning of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, now everybody has time to do one cycle of this breathing that we did at the beginning, and we're going to do it now. To do it once a day. And a lot of times I'll do that. I'll get ready to just do that between activities, getting out of my car to do the next thing. And next thing you know, if I have time, I'm sitting there half an hour, 45 minutes in calm bliss. So let's enjoy this. I'll bring up my baby spine again for people to see and visualize that you're sending that breath through those nerves. So you can go ahead and close your eyes. Let the tones of the bells penetrate through your restlessness as you sigh. Soft exhale and pause. Slow inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. And now take a sip more breath in. Hold it. And if you're sitting, lift your spine a little taller. Cleansing exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. And let out another little puff. And pause. Serene brow. Relaxed jaw. Soft shoulders. And then bowing your head to your heart for a moment. And open your eyes. And we'll return to the room.
Oh, that was beautiful. So as I was moving into that space with you, I was thinking, we're not just talking about joy training, we're actually doing it, which is part of that training. We're training.
Which reminds me, I was the first yoga teacher to work with the Marine Corps. One of the lieutenants, a female, scouted me out. So I'm actually like the yogi drill sergeant over here.
So Marguerite, anything you can say in terms of, you have us practice this conscious breathing and the relationship between the nervous system and joy and that whole connection, anything further that you want to say to kind of tie that together?
Oh, yes. Listen, we can practice, I call it being a practicing master, a practicing master of your own nervous system. And I'll show you how it works. The breathing is really key. And if there's anything that gives you the greatest return on your investment, I think of energy as like my an investment, to gain surplus of energy, use the breath. For instance, if you're stressed out, say extremely stressed out, It's an inhale, right? And then if you've had a long day and you're finished with the day, it's an exhale. And so we get these little jolts all day long. You know, somebody maybe sends a scathing email, or somebody cut us off on the freeway. All those gasps. What did they do? Look what they did. All those little gasps are like miniature, for me, they feel like miniature trauma that I'm inflicting on myself. So the way to heal that trauma, it's right after you feel it. Maybe you've been on somebody cuts you off on the road, and you do that, and you feel that jolt on your nervous system, the cortisol shoots. You can do, put your hand on your heart, or maybe if you're on the road, it's a different thing, but soft exhale, pause. And I'll even apologize. Oh, sorry, I did that to you, Marguerite. And so when people get hooked in on the drama, like on media or maybe with gossiping, they did that. There's that, instead of just being with what happened.
Watching you do that, Marguerite, dramatizes what goes on for us. As I get an opportunity to witness you doing it, it's like we stop breathing too. And so, and then as you talk about and express that expression of the breath, that cleansing kind of conscious breath, just the appearance of you doing it is calming. So you offered the contrast there, which was beautiful. What would you say in terms of how we can integrate daily, a particular routine in terms of accessing joy in our life? I like what you said. We can find that opportunity to have a conscious breath in just those moments. Anything else that you'd recommend for us to integrate joy in our life and access it regularly?
Yes. Well, you can use that fetus model, to visualize this baby. And, we are all that inner baby, right? We just got a little longer limbs and whatnot, and we've got a job, hopefully. And so we can start to perceive ourselves in the meditation. We're objectively looking, observing, ourselves and how we're feeling about things, like a parent would. Your mother and your father, archetypal. You can have your own archetypal mother and father that just love you. They're delighting in you. They're protecting you. And so you view that, that was so stressful. And that really hurt when that happened. Or, I feel so afraid. And so that's one thing, just really knowing that you have that capacity to breathe from a calm place and observe and honor how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and then decide that, okay, I can use my breathing to come into that calm place, like a mature adult parent, right? And take care of myself, and also get your answers from that calm place, like how to manage things. So I say first thing in the morning is ideal to set the tone for the day, because most of us wake up, like I said, with overwhelm and anxiety. How am I going to get all that done? And I would recommend journaling to just empty it out, and then maybe read it. Yeah.
Wonderful. I like that, setting the intention. It's like an anchor for your day, that then the actions hopefully follow that and express it. Wonderful. Marguerite, I know our time is very short. I appreciate the wisdom and offering of joy and how we can train ourselves in that way. I know you're offering a class for the Y, and I want to give you an opportunity just to share a little bit about what that is.
Well, I'm excited to share this. This is more in depth, basically, of what we just did. And you see, it's 2 hours on Thursday nights. And so it's not just sitting there quietly. Part of it is that the meditation and breathing and deeper, longer periods of that. And then getting to, like I mentioned, you get your answers when you observe what's going on and you listen from that calm place. And you'll come up with solutions that your mind would have never, your mind will probably get you into more trouble thinking, oh, I'm going to retaliate in this way or whatever. So it's going to be 5 Thursday evenings. So you get a chance to really immerse yourself. And what I find is when people get some dedicated, designated time to do this, it's like an initiation of sorts. You get bumped up to a new level of easier access to those resources within you.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. So another opportunity from a master teacher to be able to gain that resource. Marguerite, it's such a pleasure to have this opportunity with you. Thank you for offering yourself to us, and to all of you, please be well until the next time that we're together. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. Glad
Thank you.